Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. This is a show where we aim to educate, inspire and entertain through real life stories and interviews from people in the Scottish property community.
As always, thanks for listening and give us a follow on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember to join us at our monthly networking events on the first Wednesday of every month. Tickets are available on our website. So without further ado, we'll just cut straight into this week's podcast. Harris Hiscoe.
Until Monday morning.
Get off your phone.
We're on. Here we go.
How you doing, mate?
That'll be in the blooper reel. I'm well, mate. How are you?
Dubai Marina in the background here. Great to catch up with you.
It's great to catch up with you guys as well. Like you say, you got a nice backdrop behind you there.
Fantastic. We just had that bowl of the acai bowl as well and a nice wee coffee, so we're all set for a chat. So how long have you been out here now?
I've been out here 3.5 years now. All of a sudden, it's come around quickly. Yeah, it's come around quickly.
How you find it?
Yeah, I mean, it's great now, you know, looking back. It was a lot of ups and downs, as you can imagine, getting started. It's quite a cutthroat industry, you could say. But yeah, now things is going well. I'm quite well set up. I'm leasing director now at Spas Real Estate, so managing a team there.
What's the whole spark? Like, was there something like a YouTube video that you watched, or was there you went on holiday, or what was the pull for coming out here?
No, look, that's not the story for me. To be honest with you, I sort of followed my heart. I had a couple of options in front of me. I could continue to expand the business back home with my family, or I could shake things up and come and start again and try and build something of my own. And that's what I gear towards. Back home, we've got an events company, effectively. Yeah, so we do a lot of major events through the UK, primarily Scotland, and we've dabbled a bit in real estate as well.
Yeah.
So
what kind of events were it?
Events, so we're showman. It dates back to 1782, I'm sure it was. So I'm the 5th or 6th generation showman. So when you find yourself at, like fun fairs around Scotland, that's us. We've been doing it for a very long time. Ironbrew Carnival, that's where it all started. That's where it all started.
Is it?
Well, it started generations before that, you know.
So that's obviously come down the generations, and do you go all over Scotland for that sort of stuff? Or?
All over Scotland, yeah.
So you're breaking the mold now.
I'm breaking the mold, that's it. I'm trying to step outside, yeah.
Your father's disowning you.
That's it, my dad's like, what you doing, son?
I mean, that's dead interesting. Just going at that for a wee bit. So, like you said, you come from a big family.
Yes.
How many brothers and sisters have you got?
No, it's not that I've got one sibling, but the family and the community that we have around us back home, that's why it feels like we've got a big family. It's a very tight knit, exactly.
A lot of family work in the business then.
Yes, and that's an evolving business as well. Like my cousin Raisha, for example, he started to get into the manufacturing side of the business with his father. So actually manufacturing rides as well now, not only taking them to events, and we usually tie in with different events around Scotland, for example, like the Highland Games events and things like that. That's usually what we're associated with.
My thing going on there.
Links Market, things like that, yeah.
Price of these fucking rides now, by the way.
And that's why we're starting making them.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't for you, though. I mean, you obviously, you've been out here 3 years now, so
it's hard to say it's not for you when your family's been doing it for so long and you've had a great life with it.
Was your dad a bit kind of gutted, a bit disappointed when you because you've effectively kind of turned your back on it coming out here, haven't you?
I mean, that's definitely one way of looking at it. But my dad has always said to me, listen, son, there's a big world out there. Like what we do, and I'm very lucky. If I look that way, I get to see my granny and my mum and my dad. And if I look that way, I've got my sister. Like, we're very close-knit like that. Yeah. But at the same time, we've always been aware of the world that's out there and what else we could be getting involved in. So,
see, I'd imagine, because you all used to go to the shows and that, and the Ironbrew Carnival and that, the SCCC, and there's always young guys as well.
Yeah.
Do you get involved right from a young age then? And that,
I guess that's your park when you're a kid, innit? You're running around, getting involved, working slave labour. As soon as you're old enough to take the money at the front desk, that's what you're doing, right?
So you've always had that. What I'm saying is, you've always had that work ethic kind of instilled in you by your family. Is that kind of?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, everyone that's around me is all hard workers. It's just what you have to do, because there's no support there apart from yourself. You have to go out and make it happen.
And the family dabbled in real estate as well. Because I remember before I first met you, you were looking to expand that.
That's right, and that's why I ended up reaching out to you guys. Funny enough, like 4 years ago, just before I come out here, because that was something we wanted to get into even further. Yeah.
I can tell we've been in Dubai 2 days now using real estate, man. Yeah.
Apartment and
real estate.
Calling them apartments instead of flats. And
so you came out here pretty cool. Like, but you've got yourself involved with a company. So, and for the people that are looking to move out and make the first steps, how do you decide? Because there's so many kind of like real estate companies.
Yeah.
How did you kind of decide which one you wanted to go and speak to?
Yeah, for me, I felt like I was introduced to a company. So while I was going around, I was also introduced to a company. And at that moment in time, they'd recently been bought over and wanted to grow and expand. So for me, it felt like, oh, there's an early moment in this booming market where I could get involved now and perhaps grow with the company. What really sort of happened for me is I found that I was perhaps outgrowing the company and coming up against these much tougher competitors, companies like Ispas. So when I was, trying to bring on a listing, oftentimes I'd get said, well, look, I don't mean it bad. You seem like a great responsible broker, but I'm already working with Ispas and they've just sold my neighbour's villa and the X, Y and Z, and I've got a 5-year standing relationship with them. So I was up against this beast that I felt like that I couldn't beat. So then I ended up wanting to join them. And then I made the transition over to Ispas.
Did you meet up with the owner of that then? You're saying he's a Scottish guy, so did you kind of arrange a meeting? How'd that all pan out?
No, it wasn't through introduction with John. So John Lyons, he's the MD of Ispas. He's from Scotland, Kilmacombe.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't through him that I got into Ispas. I ended up starting at Ispas and getting to meet him quite early on because they're very heavily involved with the development of all the brokers, so even the MD would be in occasionally, whether it be a training session, whether it be like a Q&A and all these things. So you really get access to the highest grade brokers, like some of the cream of the industry, and they're actually there to help you. So it just kind of, I guess something started from there, and I didn't really realise it. At first, I was just getting on and doing my thing. And then, like I say, because I was brokering. And then when the opportunity come along and they asked me to be the leasing director, then I couldn't really say no to it. Yeah.
So leasing director, is that what you are at the moment?
That's what I'm doing now.
Right. So you've obviously you've got. And what's your remit within being a director? What do you have to do within that organisation? Then
balancing my time between the team and the actual active brokers, and then strategizing with people like John, and then the sales director and the residential director, people like this. So we're strategizing how. The question we're asking ourselves now is, if Ispas has been so successful in doing what they've been doing for so long, how can we continue to do that in these new developing upcoming areas? So if Dubai's growing, shouldn't we be growing with it? So it's like a very organic conversation. So now we have 40% market share in Emirates Living and we sell 1 in 5 villas on the Palm. It's like, well, these areas that have handed over recently, like Al Fajan, Talal Al Gaf, Emar South, all these areas, it's getting a lot of interest. That's where we're wanting to grow now as well. So we're presenting this opportunity to individuals that want to come and get involved in the real estate market, that in a sales capacity and a leasing capacity.
So for investors looking to buy, foreign investors looking to buy for investment properties in Dubai.
Yeah,
is that a lot of the market? It's fairly you're seeing that a lot of the buyers are coming through.
Yeah, it's a huge portion. It's mostly people from the UK that's buying through Ispas at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So daddies. Obviously, you've been here 3 years now, 3.5 years. We know it's not all plain sailing. Take us back to that first year. How much money did you make the first year? Yeah.
I don't know if I broke even the first year. It was tough. The first year, I'll tell you now. I remember we didn't really have a database. So I was out banging. You should have seen, look, I'm not got much of a tan now. You should have seen my tan the first year, because I was just out banging on people's doors all the time, because I thought, right, if I need to get myself out there and these sales is happening, how do I get to meet these people? So that's what I was doing. I was out knocking people's doors, building relationships like that, trying to bring on listings, trying to build the business from the ground up.
No, it's like your earliest memories of setting out as a leasing agent.
Yeah.
What does that look like? You shoved into an office with lots of other people? Are you handed a database? Do they tell you, right, there's a list of numbers, start calling? Like, just letting people know.
Right, okay, so sorry, you're actually asking me what's it like at the very beginning? What's the handover like, and how do you try and... Yeah, for me, it was very much like that. So you started at the company and you get pretty much given this Excel sheet and then this database as well that's supposed to have relationships in it that you can leverage. That's certainly true for a lot of the diamond agencies out here. You can leverage that network, but the company I was at wasn't a diamond agency. We didn't really have that. So I found myself effectively calling all these people that had these properties in this booming market and trying to educate them. I thought to myself, right, I need to make sure that I know what I'm talking about before I engage in anyone. So for me, I didn't even engage with anyone for the first week. I remember trying to start an online course. Actually, I've not thought about this for a long time. I ended up getting involved in an online course. You had a Ryan Serhant.
Yes.
Yeah, Ryan Serhant.
That's where we're going next year. We're going to take the podcast out in New York.
Are you?
We're going to interview Ryan Serhant.
I'll come with you. Yes, get that booked in.
He's the next one on the podcast.
Okay, so fancy making £1,000 for sending a WhatsApp? Let's take a wee break to talk about referring sellers to John and Lewis at Prime Property Auctions. Me and Stephen have both done it, and it couldn't be easier. If you know someone selling a property, the guys will pay you £1,000 or 1% of the sale price, whatever's higher, just for passing their details. Doesn't matter if the seller is already with an estate agent or not, just drop the guys a message and they'll do everything from the first call to getting the property sold. Know someone who might be looking to sell or struggling to get a result with their agent? Go to the link in the show notes and send them a message now.
So I realised that I was in this office full of people, and
So you paid for Hiscoe
I paid for his course, aye.
to become $1 million real estate
Yeah, I did, aye.
real estate agent.
Seems funny now.
No, but no.
Did you go from mine to his?
That's right.
Eh,
What did you learn on his work?
yeah, no, that's it. Well, I went to yours and then I got on a plane to Dubai, so I don't know how that went.
In Scotland.
No, so for me, like I remember being surrounded by what felt like hundreds of people out to do the same thing I was doing. So I thought, if I'm going to make this work, I need to make sure that I stand out from the crowd. And how was I going to do that? So for me, it was just trying to educate myself, and that was that was his course.
Yeah.
That was his book. That was constantly. I mean, they must have been sick of me, constantly sitting next to the highest performing brokers in my office, trying to shadow them. What are they doing? Trying to learn from them, getting tips and tricks from
You're
them.
not really making any money. I mean, are you making dribs and drabs, at least anything to get by? Did you come out here with savings, bro?
Aye, I come out here with savings,
I think
exactly.
that's key as well. That's one of the key points that I think yesterday's interviews got across. You know, you can't just expect to come out of here with nothing, hit the ground running.
No.
Make money enough to survive, yeah.
You know, somebody said to us, you need to have maybe about 20k or £20,000 or something like that,
Yes.
just so you're living for 6 months. I mean, and that can disappear quite quickly as well.
Very quickly, especially if you get involved in the brunches and that you just asked me about. No, yeah, you do. You need to come out with a fair wedge behind you so you can support yourself. You know, support yourself for 6 months. You are going to earn money before that. Like, when I say earn money, you're going to start topping that back up within your 6 months, like you should be. But certainly you need to have that pad in there so that it's not something at the back of your mind, so you can just focus on the job and focus on learning.
And then grow and not get too caught up and try to make the commissions.
Exactly, because I think that can be a mistake as well, because if you start chasing the money, then you're not really delivering a service.
So what was your first deal then? Do you remember it?
I think I do remember it actually. It was when I'm living now in the Views. There was a Fairways apartment. It was a 1-bedroom apartment to a young like Italian couple, and I remember I was dead nervous. Like, oh, it's the first time going through the process, and yeah, I'll probably never forget that.
And
Yeah.
was that a leasing one?
That was a leasing one, aye.
How
Yeah,
much was that? Can you remember?
I think they was probably paying at the market then about 80,000 dirhams for the year, and my commission would have been 5,000 dirhams, and then that obviously would have got split with the company. So I mean, I'd have only been taking home 2,500 dirhams off of that one deal.
And then like again,
£600 or something.
Something like that,
again,
yeah.
that's not like at start. That's not consistent income, is it? You're not doing
No,
like you're not doing multiple of them a week. Or
no, exactly. That's it. All of a sudden you get one done, and then maybe a couple of weeks, and then you're doing another one.
Yeah.
And then by the time it does compound, because eventually what's happened is you've had so many conversations, you've done so many viewings, you have so many listings. Now you're in the position when someone says, hi, this is what I'm looking for. You can then show them 5 or 6 options. By the time they've seen 5 or 6 options, they're probably going to have discovered what they're looking for, right? Or certainly at least what they aren't looking for, then you can show them what they are looking for the next day. So then before you know it, it does get a lot more consistent. It does. And I got quite lucky
So
as well.
At what point for you,
Yeah.
looking at your timeline, did it start getting consistent? Would you say how far in?
Probably about, I would say it started to feel consistent about 3-4 months in. That wasn't
That's
wasn't not in the sense that consistent money in my pocket,
Aye.
but I could see it in front of me. I thought, right, okay, I know where the next one's coming from, and I know how to take this from here to here now.
Got a bit of a funnel now, a bit of a flow, a bit of a pipeline now.
Exactly. And then I remember I'd done a few transactions. At that time, Visa and MasterCard were moving their offices here. So by the time I helped one or two of them help find a property, they were referring me on to their friends. So then all of a sudden, because I'd spent so much time building my pipeline and building the stock, every time they referred someone else over to me, it was pretty much a done deal. So then it was just, to be honest, then it was just quite constant.
Just flowing in constant, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, people want to know the numbers, right? And I know you're going to share this because you're a good guy in your transfer family.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like really helpful to understand that. So how much did you come out in your with savings?
I think I brought about £25,000 with me.
Right, aye, good. So that's one of the big things where people fall on their arse. They run out of money.
Yeah.
They have to. It's back to Scotland.
Back home. Yes, for sure.
So that's the first lesson on out. Secondly, the leasing, is that more the common path for people to get into leasing more than the sales?
It is, yeah.
Right. And then how long do you need to give yourself then? Do you think it's 6 months until you actually start getting a bit of consistency there?
I would say so, yeah. Realistically, consistent income,
Right,
yes.
okay, so we're starting to build up a wee picture there. Is there any point in that first year where you're like, oh shit, like, I'm like coming scarily close to having to quit this, or was it all just uphill from then on?
Certainly wasn't uphill. I mean, it's not even just financial, it can be mental as well, right? Because you might be putting so much in and then a few deals fall through. You could have done everything right and the deal falls through. Sometimes you can do everything wrong and the deal happens. So
Any specific cases where something happened to you or somebody's pulled out that you can really, that was a real sore one?
it was a sore one for me when I was trying to, because then when I got consistent, I made perhaps the mistake of trying to outgrow where I was too quickly. So then I thought, right, hold on, I'm just going to get into sales. Like, why am I bothering? This is the common thing.
The big buck here, yeah.
Everyone does it, right? So that's what I did. So then I ended up getting myself straight into an area like called the Lakes, right? So there's properties in there at the time that were transacting for 3.5 million dirhams all the way up to about 25 million dirhams. It's townhouses, 2-bedroom townhouses up to 7-bedroom, effectively huge villas on the golf course. And I remember there was an owner that was living between Dubai and Bahrain, and I had someone that wanted to purchase that property for 20. It was asking 24 million and they wanted to pay 23 million. So I paid for the owner's flights. I says to him, look, this is very serious. I'd like you to come back to Dubai.
So this is the effort that you need to put in.
This is what you have to put in. 100%. And I didn't get the deal done. That's what I'm coming to.
No, I'm going to let you go on and explain the story, but this is a reoccurring thing that we speak to guys who spend they're spending days, weeks on these deals.
Yeah.
Because the numbers are massive.
Yeah, the number's huge, exactly.
And then tell us how that...
Yeah, so for this example, I
the guy's flight.
paid for his flights because he wasn't in the country, he was in Bahrain at the time. And I thought to myself, right, hold on, if I'm asking this man to come back to Dubai and I've got someone that wants to transact on his home, for me it felt like part of the service. Looking back now, would I make the same decision? I'm not sure, but it felt like the right thing at the time. So I brought him, I even picked him up at the airport as well, and he took him back to his villa. He needed a couple of hours sleep. He was quite a wee bit of an older gentleman, so he needed a bit of a sleep.
Did you say it was a buyer or a seller?
So he was a seller that I brought in.
He was the seller, right?
Yeah, brought in from Bahrain. So then so that's what we done. So we went round to his house. The buyer come with me, and we had the check it was a cash deal, 23 million dirhams, right? Which, I mean, if you're asking 23 million dirhams, that was a fair reason to get the man to come back to Dubai. So it transpired that he didn't want 23, so ended up going to 23.5 million. So now this is obviously getting very close, and thought it was all going to happen. Then Espas trumped me. They come in with 24 million.
And this is the competitiveness.
This is the competitiveness.
Market.
Exactly.
There's no exclusivity there. It's a free-for-all basically in this market.
A free-for-all. And even when you have exclusive, I don't know even if you have it exclusive, because if somebody's at the door banging with a check, then things change. Yeah, so I mean, that didn't end up happening. So that deal didn't go out because then we got outbid. It was quite as simple as that. So then...
So basically, sorry, get this in my head, because again, people will not relate to this back home because it's such a different way of working.
Yeah.
But Spas had an agent who had a buyer who was willing to offer more.
Exactly.
They had 24
million they had, yeah.
You've flown the guy from
Bahrain, yeah.
to come in, and you thinking, I'm schmoozing this guy, everyone's going well, the relationship's
Of course,
going well, and somebody
yeah.
just comes in like that and pulls the rug from under your feet.
That's right. I mean, you can't get much closer than 23.5 million dirhams for 24 million, right? So it seemed like...
But for me, it's like, that would be hard to take, because you've built a relationship with this guy. This guy knows that you've paid for his flights. How could that guy...
Because he's got an extra $500,000.
Yeah.
Money.
Well, that's it. I mean, that is the answer.
Yeah.
But for me, that's just like a wee bit of like...
Yeah.
He's screwing you over a wee bit as well.
No, he's
I mean,
played the market.
he's played the market. That's the market here. Exactly.
So what would your commission have been on that?
So it would have been 2%, yeah. So my commission would have been...
Let's
so let's just get the calculator out. Aye, so if it sold for 23.5 million dirhams...
Right. So, 23.5 million commission...
2%.
How many percent? And he said, that's a calculator up here. 23. Listen, millions.
Have zeros.
I'm not used to writing in millions here. Another one, that's 23.5 million, right? Times by 2%. So 2.5, is it?
It doesn't matter.
2%, aye. 2%, aye. 2%.
470,000.
Yeah, 470,000 dirhams.
470,000. That's on the board's overall commission.
Exactly. So I'd have took home, let's say I'd have took home half of that, 50%. Yeah.
50%, because they say that at the start you're 50%, then you can work your way up if you're one of the top performing agents.
235 dirhams. So what's that?
So wait a minute, let's get
It's like £50,000, isn't it?
a big chunk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big chunk. Yeah, exactly.
People's yearly salary in the UK in one deal.
Exactly.
Right, so, £50,000.
Yeah.
Like you say, I mean, wait a minute. You're saying a yearly salary. Most people are not even on that.
Yeah.
The average salary back home is probably like 30,
Yeah.
35.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And to pocket 50,000, you'd need
And
to be
that's
earning
tax.
about 75 grand, wouldn't you?
Well, exactly.
That's without tax.
That's tax.
Yeah.
And that's tax free.
That's one deal.
What was going through your head at that point then, when you're so close
Yeah.
to closing that deal and you thought you had it in the bag?
That was the point for me where I realised that I was playing in a field with people that had been doing this for so long that I wasn't ready to compete with. So I had to, that's when I made the move. That's when I thought I need to get involved and learn from these guys and see what it is they're doing.
And there's not even, like you say, I'm kind of struggling to come to terms with the decisions, but there's not even, nobody bats an eyelid that that's just what happens in this market. You know, it's a dog eat dog.
Yeah.
There's no kind of courtesy, there's no, like that just wouldn't happen back home, like presumption and all that. I mean, I know it does for one, but it's
the norm here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it. I like this idea of this. I love the competitiveness. I think it should be.
So looking back on that, how would you change things now? Because obviously you were quite naive at the time.
Yeah, quite fresh off the boat.
So you wouldn't have paid for the guy's flights.
Do you know what? I wouldn't actually, now looking back at it, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I think I done the right thing in that moment.
Right.
And then it just transpired to how it transpired. You have your ups, you have your downs.
Cash down on the 50 grand paycheck for spending a grand on flights. You'd have been like, mingle, what a great return on investment.
A return on investment, that's right. Then all of a sudden £1,000.
But aye, to do it and get nothing back, it's one from a painful pill to swallow, but could have been a phenomenal return.
Exactly.
You could get up again if you win it, don't you?
That's it. And you can't make money off all your investments, right? So then you just pick yourself up and keep going. You can't hold it against the man. He played the market. That's the norm here.
Mentally though, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to handle that suggestion.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a guy yesterday and I was like, look, potentially you could get quite suicidal about like failing at that level.
I'd imagine.
Some people could.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Especially if you have 300,000 as well. Like, and if you're, I suppose if you start bank in your head, but this is coming and if somebody controls you at the last minute, it's actually quite an up and down there.
If you start spending it before you've got it, I'd imagine that would, yeah. A lot of that's the ups and downs of it. So don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like I thought, all right, okay, on to the next one. Like that did break me mentally to a point, and then I had to stand back up. Like, let's be truthful.
A specific example.
Yeah.
This is where you went on to join this pass.
Yeah, that was the final straw for me. I thought I need to get involved with these boys. What are these doing? And then when I come to a SPAS, it was eye opening. I thought, oh my God, I had no idea what I was up against.
Systems and CRMs and processes and a lot more playing at a different level.
Exactly. Their strategies and their their ability to do what they do, there's just so many factors that I didn't even know existed. It wasn't as easy as knocking on the door to get the listing, to bring a buyer, to close it. There's so much more that goes on there. And yeah, simple as that, really.
So you dust yourself down, pick yourself back up, and then like you're on to, I mean, just give us an example. What's been your best deal so far that's transacted? You've actually money in the bank?
Money in the bank, probably off of one deal, £25,000.
£25,000?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, £25,000. Yeah.
Sales,
That was actually a record-breaking leasing deal in the Meadows. Yeah, so we had this property that was, you know, just out of this world. This family had built a forever home, effectively, that they actually ended up having to leave Dubai to pursue another career interest or a business interest at the time. So this property entered the market way above the standard of anything that had ever been brought into the market before. So we didn't even get the chance to bring it to the market and present it to everyone. We were able to present it to our clients with it. We had long-standing relationships with people wanting, you know, to find a home like this. And there was offers within 24 hours. So yeah.
And we're now, what date is it today? The 15th of March. So a few months into the year. What have you put on the board so far this year?
So my position is different now. I'm a leasing director.
Right.
So I'm directing.
Many deals then, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So I'm obviously leading a team now of brokers. Yeah. But so for my top brokers, pocketing between £8,000 and £14,000 per month in their pocket.
But as a director, you don't.
That's quite regular then for these brokers that are on leasing, because it's not as up and down commission. It's more regular with in the leasing side.
Exactly. If you're at that level and you have a bad month in leasing, you've still closed 2 or 3 deals. It's not like in sales. If you have a 2-3 month stint where you don't close a deal, that impacts your pocket at any level, right?
I'm interested to explore this idea of transitioning now to a director. So you're now not out there doing a deal, so you're not getting the commissions now.
Yeah.
So you obviously need to be compensated for that. So you're now getting a salary.
Yes. Aye, that's it. So I'm now in a position where I'm in a salary and an override of the team. That's how it's designed out here.
Right. Also, the team performs and you get the team to perform well, you're getting a split on what they're sharing to go to the brokerage. Really.
Exactly, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
So
it's all done on performance as well.
It's all performance.
I really like how, I just didn't think that anything in the UK were just rewarded for laziness and going idleness, and you can turn up and do as bare minimum or well as you can, and still get compensated for it. Whereas here it's like, no, if you don't provide value to the marketplace and work hard, you're not making it.
Exactly, and you don't get to be around the table for very long, because if you're not, it's a high performance environment. Pardon me. So if you allow yourself to become a high performance individual, you get to be around that table with guys. Then if you become that's where you can monetize this industry, when you become dependable and reliable. Because if I have someone that's looking for a particular home, I should know who to phone right away. Like one of the guys in my office, he's actually the off-plan director now, but his name's Jake. So he was at another company. He come over to Spas. He actually doubled his income within his first year when he come over. And he actually had a 20% market share as an individual, a 20% market share of a community. So if I had someone that wanted to buy in that, sorry?
How many units we're talking about in our community?
So in that community, there's 600.
That's huge.
Yeah. So when you have someone that's looking for a home in that community, you know the first man to call, right? So then that's where it compounds. That's where it just grows. Because when you become the man or the lady, that's it. Your phone's ringing. Simple as that.
So as a director now, is your income consistent every month? Or is it going up and down still? So it's dependent on team performance still? Is that?
Yeah, so that's the beauty. It's still dependent on team performance, yeah.
It's still fluctuating month to month?
Still fluctuates month to month,
you've got a bit more security there with the salary, or?
Of course, yeah.
Are you willing to share any figures there? Is that private?
Don't know, that's probably private, aye. Yeah.
I respect that.
That's not on the board.
That's not on the board.
We're going to get a look in the office, mate, so we might be able to.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. Great insight. So, I mean, just away from the kind of money side of things.
I was thinking interesting on the kind of, I suppose, the investor market, but then is that what we're going to kind of chat about in the office? Or
what's that?
The kind of investor side, like, so if you're buying in beer, like we're in the Dubai Marina.
Yeah.
What's your kind of purchase price at 1 or 2 day apartment here, and what return would an investor get on these profits?
Yeah, realistically, if you're buying a 1 bedroom in the marina, you're looking around 2 million dirhams. Now you can spend less and you can spend more. But what for you're looking for 2 million dirhams on the purchase price. Today's purchase price, you're looking around 6% gross ROI on the rental income. But as the performance has been, you're also getting the capital appreciation as well.
Yeah.
Short term,
I think we're talking capital appreciation's been around 20% for the last 5 years. Is that?
in some cases, yeah, you've seen that between 10, yeah, did you call it between like 10 and 18% or 10 and 14% to be very conservative, and then there are other examples out with that. Yeah.
Good. And we notice a lot in the marina as well. A lot of them, you see the big buildings, a lot of the lights go off at night. Are these the ones that are on your Airbnb or your short term lights as well? Is that quite a lucrative market here?
Very lucrative market, yeah. It's very high paced, and you're looking closer towards a 12% return on your rental income. 12%
sitting within the building as well.
Yeah, so you'd have yes, that's it. So you'd have somebody managing that for you. So we do that as well. We'll manage a portfolio of an investor's properties and just manage the full process, whether it's long term or short term.
Yeah. And then looking at those figures, 2 million dirhams, that's £420,000.
Yeah.
Right. That's not accessible for a lot. I mean, look at our circle. People buying flats that are under 100 grand and all that. So I think they get back home. It's not accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like in our circle.
It's a booming economy where it's grown like saying 10 to 18% year on year for the last 4 or 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
Guess it depends on your strategy, doesn't it? If you look for capital growth. So what were you saying rent wise off of that one bedroom?
Off of that.
Yes.
But like to give me an idea of like rent per month of a 1 bedroom apartment.
So are you basing off that figure there?
2 million dirhams for a 1 bedroom flat in the marina here. How much rent would you get a month?
Yeah, so if you ever want to calculate that, you can always do it based off around a 6% ROI. So then that would give you, so then all of a sudden you can look at pretty much any property and assume the rough rental price. Exactly.
20 grand times 6%.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 25,000 a year.
Yeah. In pounds, yeah.
That's pounds, just so listeners can relate.
Yeah.
Divided by 12. Is that 2 grand a month?
Yeah, 1 bedroom apartment in the marina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I'm so like,
But then what I was thinking about this is not even quite London business.
Yeah.
And you've got a city that's expanding, like 15,000 millionaires in the UK left to come to Dubai last year. It's got hundreds of people coming in a year, it's expanding and growing. Surely this marina is going to keep up in value with the city and economy growing.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of properties handing over. Like, we know there's 88% more properties handing over than there was last year, for 25, 26 and 27. But we know there's also going to be delays in handovers. So we're not going to quite get the properties hitting the market the way that we expect to. And then these locations can't be recreated, like they're already here.
I get it, but I get it, but it's not. It wouldn't be for me because, like, I'm looking at that going 400 grand, right? £2,000 a month. I get what you're saying about potential.
Go buy in the growth, London or Manchester.
Yeah, but in terms of actual cash flow and return on your money, I can. If we're just talking about cash, not lending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cash figures. I can buy a flat for 100 grand back in Glasgow. Right, and I can get £1,000 a month, right? So I could get.
Depends if your strategies for cash flow in Glasgow or capital growth in Dubai.
No, your strategy is for the maximum return on your investment.
The maximum return could be 20% growth on this property for year on year for the next another 5 years. So actually, it's going to shrink your cash flow in comparison.
There's a lot of what ifs, so it's a riskier strategy.
That's amazing. It's like investing in London 10, 15 years ago and watching this, that the capital just keep going up and up.
It's you're looking purely at the rent.
Most people don't look at it, or a lot of people don't look at property income as cash flow. They look at it from like most wealthy investors look at it from a capitalization play.
I agree, but based on historic over the last couple of years, you could say, right, let's project it 15-20%, but I'm just talking about rental income.
Yeah,
something like that.
Most people are not looking at it from that. I wouldn't have thought you You may be more clued up on that. You're more clued up on that, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, then you're talking between the primary and the secondary market, because a lot of people are getting involved in the primary market, right? So when you buy a property, then it hands over, let's say, Q4 2026. By the time you've purchased that one-bedroom apartment for 1.4 million, I think they were, from EMAR at the time, then you're going to be able to rent that at 120 grand. So then you are up at your 10-12% ROIs. So that also exists.
I think it's a different profile of. For me, it's a whole different profile. We used to deal with like investors, who are purchasing under that 100 grand because that's all the funds they have available.
Yeah,
But you're playing at a different level.
yeah. You could.
As you kind of touched on it, you're talking about the primary market and the secondary market. What's the difference to that?
What's the difference between that and what? Sorry.
So what's the kind of explanation of the primary market?
So the primary market. So then you're buying a property off plan that's going to hand over within the next 1 to 3 years, let's say.
And how do you buy that? You have to buy that outright, or do you buy it on a mortgage, or do you buy it, or do you buy it once it's complete?
Very accessible because they have payment plans, and some of them even have post handover payment plans. So you might invest in a property that has a 60-40 or a 40-60, 50-50, and how that's defined is you would pay, if it's 50-50, you would pay 50% of that investment during the construction phase, and then once the property's handed over, you have 50% of that to pay, and you can mortgage that.
If you've then got a 20% growth in that period, you've agreed at the price at 1.4, but it's now worth 1.8.
Exactly.
You've got that growth already before it's even.
It reminds me a lot of 2007 back home, where it was off-plan properties going up all over the place. So like, we're walking down on the beachfront there last night. There's all these wee pods set up, just like off-plan developments everywhere.
I thought you meant in Glasgow.
No,
Here I.
But it reminds me.
What I'm thinking.
It reminds me of people when they were selling off plan in 2006, 2007, 2008.
Right, okay.
They're probably too young to remember this.
Yeah.
2008, things were booming. 2007, things were booming.
Yeah.
Back in 2008, the whole financial system collapsed.
That's
and we had a huge crash. So what I'm thinking is, when's the crash coming here?
Yeah, good question.
I remember when I last came out here, maybe 3 or 4 times now, the last time I came out here just before COVID, and the market was on a decline for a few years, and there was too much then.
Yeah.
So there was too much supply and not enough demand. It's like COVID boomed Dubai. All over how they dealt with it, how they recovered from it, how they kept prospering and growing. So it's went another way. So maybe it's all the Huddits crash.
I mean, the basics are in the supply and demand, right? So what we're seeing is obviously so many people, the influx of people moving into Dubai, but obviously the amount of building as well. So it just becomes a point at what point do they start building too much and people stop coming in, and then that's when there'll be a correction probably. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, with the amount of properties handing over, then there could be a relief on the upward pressure of the price points, to say the least. There could be.
I'm very
stable.
I'm very
but
like you to understand how many are like everything, because we was just sitting there. I don't know, looking up at these big blocks.
Yeah.
There's not many lights on in them.
It's Ramadan as well, isn't it? Son?
Yeah.
It's quite a flat time of the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure about why the lights is on and off, but what I could tell you is if one of my brokers that works in the marina, for example, what he'll do is he'll specialise in a development. So he'll pick the marina gate, let's say, and he will be establishing himself and building these relationships, has been for a very long time. At any given point, if he's got 7 or 8 properties available, he's happy. And that's just on like a monthly basis. So, if there's 400 or 500 apartments in that block and only 7 of them are available at any given sort of month, the capacity, to be honest with you, most of them
things are not sitting in the market. You see that as within your leasing team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially the ones we're seeing empty, I suppose the short-term let ones where the people are not here at the moment.
Yeah, possibly holiday home as well for a lot of people.
Like the boats that you see lying there that are not getting used. Do you know what I mean? It's just like oligarchs and like stuff like that. It's just like they're not popping it at the top of their income. They're just bothered about funking their cash somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bit of that.
So it's probably some of that as well.
Yeah.
No, that's been a really good insight. I think that last sort of question is on the investment side as well. Like, what kind of profile or what kind of backgrounds are these people who are investing, £500,000 from the UK? Are we talking about business owners? Like, can you give us an example of kind of
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it'd be hard to put a finger on it because there's people from all walks of life coming out here and doing it. But from the UK at the moment, we're dealing with a family. He's actually a fund manager. Yeah. So he's now similar to you guys, right? It's like everyone's talking about Dubai back home, and it's like, is that the case? So he's come out now, lived here for a few months, is managed to realise that everything that he's heard back home within reason's actually sort of happening, and now wants to be involved. So once he comes out here, sets up a property for his family to live in, a few investments for himself, then the fund, the funds that he's managing, that he's going to then open that up to the Dubai market. So people, and then other business owners, families, this isn't just where people are coming to buy a property to invest. People are moving their lives here. That's the difference. People are coming here with their families, the kids is in school. Like, Dubai's not the second car anymore. Yeah. If they have a pinch, they're not just selling what they've got in Dubai and running back home. Like, this is where their life is now. Yeah, because we've spoken about supply quite a lot there, but the demand, the demand, there's a serious amount of demand, especially for all these primary areas.
It's only going to get better with the way the Western civilization was going.
Yeah.
Like, if you think we're talking about Alabama, doom and gloom and stabbings in Glasgow, or unsafer, let's figure off, and we're talking about, which we always talk about in the podcast as well, like, wealth and prosperity and growing and the amount of people who bring on, and it's on social media. There's people's conversations openly and Dubai, and everyone encourages it. Everyone wants to do well and strive here. It's a great place to be.
Well, we can certainly get used to doing the podcast here. Could be every month on this balcony. So I think we should definitely make a regular appearance out here.
For sure, aye.
Every 6 months, maybe.
Come and get a bit of sun.
Really appreciate your time, mate. Having a chat, being open to us with figures. Thanks very much for picking up the bill as well. Really appreciate it.
Aye, no bother at all. That's it. You're welcome anytime.
We can get this one.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Nice one, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.